The witch school of Darkstone was asleep. Well, almost all of it. The towers were quiet, the owls snored on the beams, and the floating candles blinked with sleep. But in dormitory number 7, the Witch Lila was wide awake. She couldn't sleep. From far away, something strange could be heard. Plop, plop, plop. Lila sat up in bed. "That's not a leak," she whispered. Chispa, her broom, was resting against the wall. When she heard the sound, her bristles lifted nervously. Plop, plop. "It's coming from the old wing," said Lila, "and no one should be there at night." The witch school had many rules, lots of them, and one of the most important said, "Do not enter the old classrooms after dark." Lila hesitated for just 1 second. Then she smiled. "Let's take a quick look," she whispered. "Just a look." Chispa buzzed with excitement and slid under Lila's feet. They flew out the window without a sound and headed to the oldest part of the school. There it was, the Forbidden Cauldron classroom. A crooked sign on the door read, "Do not enter, not by day, not by night, not ever." "That usually means, enter carefully," murmured Lila. She pushed the door. Creak! Inside, the room glowed with a green light that moved up and down. In the centre, drawn on a circle on the floor, stood a huge ancient cauldron, cracked and glowing. "I didn't do anything," said Lila quickly, looking at Chispa. The cauldron answered with a louder plop. A bubble rose slowly, and when it popped, the classroom changed. The walls stretched, the ceiling spun like a carousel, and suddenly Lila was no longer in the classroom. She was in a very long hallway, full of identical doors. "Chispa," said Lila. "Was this here before?" Far away, a deep gong echoed like a giant bell. An ancient voice filled the air. "The night of the cauldron has begun. When the final gong sounds, the school will not wake up." "That sounds very bad," whispered Lila. The hallway began to move as if it were breathing. "Okay," said Lila. "Quick plan. Find the cauldron, close it, run." A door opened by itself. Inside was a classroom, doubled. 2 blackboards, 2 desks, 2 teachers snoring at the same time. Another bubble popped somewhere, and one blackboard grew chalky legs and ran away. "Hey!" shouted Lila. Chispa shot after it. They flew between floating desks. When they escaped the room, the hallway had changed again. Now it twisted like a spiral. "The school changes with every bubble," said Lila. "We have to hurry." The second gong sounded. Gong! The floor shook. They reached the hall of endless closets. Every closet opened into another one. Some held shouting hats, others capes that tried to wear themselves. A bubble popped, and Chispa was suddenly trapped inside a closet that slammed shut. "Chispa!" The closet began running across the room. "Stop right now!" Lila jumped on top, rolled, and opened the door just before it crashed into a wall. Chispa burst out, messy but happy. "We are never coming back here," said Lila, breathing hard. The third gong sounded deeper than before. "Gong!" "There's not much time left," whispered Lila. At the end of the next hallway, they saw the cauldron again. Now it floated on a platform surrounded by huge bubbles like balloons. Inside each bubble, a piece of the school was trapped. "If they all pop," said Lila. The cauldron bubbled faster. "We have to close it." Chispa pointed to an old lid leaning against the wall, marked with the same symbol as the cauldron. Together they lifted it. It was heavy. A bubble popped nearby. The floor vanished. "Now!" shouted Lila. Chispa jumped, Lila stretched, and together they slammed the lid onto the cauldron. Plop! Everything stopped. The bubbles deflated, the platform lowered, the green light faded. The classroom returned to normal. Silence. The final gong tried to ring. Clonk. Lila sat on the floor. "I think we did it." The cauldron went quiet again. From far away came normal sounds. Footsteps, laughter, a magical rooster singing at the wrong time. Lila and Chispa looked at each other. No one needs to know, said Lila. Chispa lifted one bristle. They returned just as the sun rose over the towers. Back in bed, Lila closed her eyes and smiled. From the old wing, very softly, came one last plop. Story's done and softly gone, but another will come if you stay along. Dream, smile, and listen once more. Bedtime stories for kids.